Hey everyone, yeah, this SNC Lavalin scandal, I told you, not going anywhere anytime soon. And people like myself, and even some of those in the establishment media, are going to make sure that it doesn't. Because I want those federal liberals held to account. They wanted to do a whole lot of virtue signaling, right? They wanted to put forth, present this narrative that they were going to do politics differently. They were going to be more open and transparent. Well, that's the message you sent out to the Canadian people. We're going to hold you to it. And so far, you're getting a severely failing grade. Matter of fact, I'd call that an F-. But it's not just the federal government, folks. There's some provincial governments that are playing these political games and showing their unwillingness to stand on principle or in defense of the rule of law as well. Headline of the Financial Post: Quebec to spend $1 billion to keep corporate head office like SNC Lavalin in the province. Quebec would invest $1 billion towards growing business and retaining head offices. This being reported by Alison Lampert, Reuters, March 22nd, 2019. Quebec City. Quebec's government said on Thursday it would balance its books in 2019-2020 while cutting debt, and announced a plan to invest $1 billion to help keep corporate head offices in the predominantly French-speaking Canadian province. The center-right coalition Avenir Quebec, CAQ, government elected for the first time in October with a legislative majority, forecasts a net surplus of $2.5 billion for fiscal 2018-2019, ending March 31st, after investing $3.1 billion in a provincial debt-fighting fund. The province had forecast a $1.7 billion surplus in December. So, as much as it was at least shown to the Quebec people that, yeah, as much as people thought that the Liberals were going to maintain their stranglehold in power, well, yeah, there's lots of special interest groups that will pull away a lot of support from even some of the established parties when they recognize that their bottom line or their way of doing business is being challenged. But the biggest thing I want people to take away from this story is the fact that, hey, Quebec, that $1 billion that Quebec's spending, yeah, that's taxpayer dollars. It's not just the Quebec people. It'd be different. Like in that province, hey, if you want to economically enslave your own peeps, hey, do your fucking thing, Quebec. And the people that are foolish enough to support you for doing so, well, they get what they rightfully deserve. The problem is Quebec is a major have-not province. It is basically one giant province that is a welfare recipient, right? A habitual welfare recipient. I mean, that province hasn't been productive as far as being a have province for fucking decades now. They keep resting, relying on, suckling on the teat of the prosperous people in Alberta or British Columbia or Saskatchewan. And they've become so inept and so corrupt and so unwilling to stand on anything that's even remotely responsible as far as business practices. Now they just seem unwilling to correct course or change their habits of behavior because, once again, why would they? They can rely on sucking on the fucking tit of the Albertan people, the hard-working people of Alberta, which is why, yeah, the Alberta secession movement, keep that going forward. Because really, these people, like I say, and I live on well, from Ontario, Quebec, or the East Coast. I'm one of those people that live in provinces that will suffer if Alberta separates. But you know what? I'm on board with that. Matter of fact, I actually personally won't separate because I've made sure that I don't rely on government to take care of me anyway. So wealth transfers or income transfers from the have provinces to the have-nots, yep, won't affect me. But it will definitely have a profound and dramatic effect on these people, like I say, that just think that they can rest and reside on their reliance on suckling on the teat of the Albertan people. Send them a clear message, folks, because that's the only way you're going to affect real change in this country, is to send them a very strong and clear message that, nope, we're pulling the tit away. You're going to have to learn to go out and forage for yourself. Feed yourself. And you know what? Actually, you'll benefit the people of Quebec tremendously if you choose to do so. So it's not a selfish endeavor. It's actually beneficial for the people of Quebec, because look at how inept they have become. And I don't mean all the people of Quebec, I should say, but those who support this kind of initiative, right? The people of Quebec that don't support this, well, we're completely in line and on board and have no conflicts. The document came 2 days after Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's government lavished new spending on middle-class voters in its budget ahead of the October federal election. Quebec Finance Minister Eric Girard used his first budget to support the provincial economy ahead of weaker growth expected in coming years. He announced higher spending on social programs and incentives to increase participation in the labor force by retaining older workers. Like I say. Anyways, I'll post a link to this article in the description of the video below. These people, like I say, they think they can just tinker around the edges and constantly micromanage or manipulate the lives of millions of people and think that that's going to be conducive for genuine prosperity and happiness for the entire population. No, they're just picking winners or losers. And, you know, like I said, the ones that are being picked winners currently, those are the people that are like, I love it. Oh, yeah, this is great. But those of us who aren't, we're not seeing any residual effects or anything even remotely positive about this, which is why, like I say, playing these kind of games where you pick winners or losers in the economy or on the social sphere, it's a terrible idea, because all you do is create and generate a whole population of your people who will now want to oppose the ones that are now benefiting from top-down government initiatives or structures. So once again, it's always that race to the bottom. It's always about... I'm going to bring them down because I've seen that they've brought me down. It's always tit for tat and retaliation, which at the end of the day, played out in its entirety, fully, just means we're all, like I said in past videos, we're all way down here as the lowest common denominator. And we will get that equality that these leftards or these collectivists put forward, present as if that's where we all want to be. Well, once again, once we're all down here in that lowest common denominator, mired in the quagmire, or in that mess that they've created, watch and see how that plays out for them. When you realize that everyone down there that's mired in that mess, they're not happy there. None of them are happy there. The only ones that are happy are those few, that tiny elite, that minority of Canadians that are part of the political ruling class or the corporate class in this country, because they're not ever going to be down there. They're always going to remain up here. But they're more than happy and more than willing to keep the rest of you down there. And it seems like a whole lot of Canadians, especially the people of Quebec, are more than willing to maintain their place way down at the bottom. Because to them, well, that represents equality, right? Well, that's the kind of equality I don't want nothing to do with. And you shouldn't either. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.